Hey folks, Tim Newman with Soft Light Studios bringing you another daily assignment. Today's assignment for July 27th, 2019. Our assignment today is titled, I'm Sailing. So pick up Bob at the boat dock and take him for a sail. Okay, so you may not get the movie reference, but getting pictures of sailboats is the order of the day. With summer in full swing, shouldn't be too tough. All right, let's take a look at a sample image. I love this image here. I really think the sunset is wonderful. I think the sailboat sailing off in that direction is really great. You know, there's some things here in this image that are important to observe. One is the use of dead versus active space, the use of negative space, and also the direction that the sailboat is sailing here. There is a whole collection of balance items happening here. Geometric balance, tonal balance, subject balance, they're all happening in this picture. It's really well done. And by the way, it may be subtle, but the rule of thirds is in here as well. All right, our next picture. This is just a little view from the dock. This boat hasn't even left the dock. It's still tied up. But I really like the diagonal line. I like the color set that's here. And I like some of the, what we would call curved or chaotic lines here that have been woven in. I think this makes for a really, really great image. Let's take a look at some of the elements of design that matter to us here. Obviously, quality of light is important here. You're going to really be working with some complex subjects here. So getting the light in the right place at the right time is going to be critical. It's going to really help with your shadows and your texture and your volume. Lines, think of leading lines here. Anywhere where you can work lines in here really is a great thing. And last but not least, shapes where you can find them. They really matter a lot here. Let's take a look at some more sample images. Okay, now you're probably not going to find these sailboats here. They're from the Middle East. It's a type of sailboat that they sail over there. But all the same, I'm sure you can find a collection of sailboats locally to where you're at, and you can work the setting sun. Here we're building a little bit of tension in the scene because we're actually working active versus dead space a little bit backwards here, but that's okay. It can engage the viewer in a very, very interesting way. Now, the one thing I would say with this is I would definitely go back and level out the horizon here. And I'll call out my own issues when I see them after the fact, but as I'm observing this now, if one of my students brought this to me, I would say, why are you draining that lake? All right, let's take a look at another sample image. This one here is just as simple as working the mast on the boat. And we're using a little bit of depth of field here to keep the background in this kind of out of focus. That, of course, accentuates the depth in the scene, and the diagonal line makes it work longer through the picture as well. Last but not least, don't forget those close-up features on the sailboats that make sailing such an interesting hobby to pursue. Diagonal lines here, intersecting lines here, curved lines here, plus monochrome color set. So I think this picture's got a lot of things going for it. Let's take a look at some of the rules of composition here. Rule of thirds, you'll see that in a lot of the pictures here, either straight up and in your face or subtle. Negative versus positive space, think about that. That's definitely a good way to build emotion in the picture. Think of that first sailboat picture and all the empty space around that sailboat. Kind of makes it think of either an opportunistic scene where you can go off sailing, or it could even be conceived as a lonely scene. Depends on how you look at it. And last but not least, color theory works here as well. Complementary colors, triadic colors, analogous colors, and even those monochromes that we saw there at the very end. All right, one last slide here. Your rules if you're going to be outputting an image for upload for the semi-monthly image critique. You see an example of a name for today's image along with the naming standard laid out there. If you don't understand any of that, look at the Update 01 video, for which there is a link included below. Right next to that, you'll find a link for the upload URL, so you don't have to type all of those funky little characters that you see below. And there's one more link down there that you ought to check out because it does really cool stuff. That's the subscribe button. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're having fun with these. And remember, as we always say, learning equals skills. Practice equals mastery. We'll see you out there.